Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make the colorful dumpling wrappers. By learning the basics, you can make any color dumplings wrapper as you wish. Check it out. Hi friend, this is Erica right here. I'm a Taiwanese citizen currently living in America. Cooking and traveling are my passions, so I'm here to share with you my favorite Asian recipes. I make kitchen trivia shorts and Asian home cooking recipe on this channel, so if that interests you, please subscribe and keep watching. Happy Lunar New Year's, guys! Last week we made a video talking about how to make a pork and cabbage dumpling from scratch. But because I don't want to overwhelm you, I didn't get into the detail about how to make the dumplings wrapper. So today I'm not only going to teach you how to make the dumplings wrapper, but I'm also going to teach you how to make the colorful ones. The ingredients of the dumplings wrapper is super simple. It is basically just flour, salt, and liquid. And by changing the color of the liquid, we can make any type of color dumplings as we wish. And today we're gonna make two different color dumpling wrappers, which is the red one with cranberry juice and the green ones with spinach juice. So without further ado, screenshot! Here's the ingredient that we'll need for today's recipe. For the normal dumplings wrapper, we'll need some all-purpose flour, salt, and clear water. And for the red ones that we're making today, we're replacing the water with cranberry juice. And for the green ones, we'll replace the water with spinach juice. So, first things first, let's make our liquid. Today I'm using the store-bought cranberry juice because I have some at home, but there's many different ways of making the red juice. You can use strawberries, you can use beet juice, and some people use pomegranate as well. The liquids are mainly just for the coloring. It is less likely you're gonna taste any fruit in your wrappers because the stuffing we add into the dumplings will overpower that. But if you feel like, ugh, cranberry in dumplings, that's so weird, just use the vegetable juice like beet juice. To make the spinach juice, just simply add in water and spinach and blend it up, and then filter it out with a mash bag to make sure there's no any fiber in our juice. By knowing that all these ingredients we add into our liquid is just for color, this is where you can become creative. Whatever color you like to create, just simply look for the fruit or vegetable that is that color. Like orange juice for yellow dough, carrot juice for orange ones, the purple cabbage for purple dough, and here's some crazy fact. When you add the lemon juice into the purple cabbage, you will create a very vibrant red color. And if you add in baking soda, you will create the blue juice. This is all about changing the pH level of the purple cabbage. If you focus on science class, you should know this. And if you're just making white dough, just use tap water. To give our wrappers a very smooth texture and enough liquid, you want to filter out all the liquids to use for the best result. So here I'm using a cotton herb bags to filter out the spinach fiber. Store-bought cranberry juice is pretty clear, so I didn't filter it, but if your juice is more chunky, make sure you filter them as well. Now get a mixing bowl and add in your all-purpose flour, and a pinch of salt to encourage the gluten from forming, and our liquid. The best ratio of water and flour for the dumplings wrapper is 48% liquid to flour. This will create a relatively drier dough, so when we're rolling them out, it is less likely to stick. To avoid the flour to stick on your hand, use the chopsticks to stir the flour till you cannot see any liquids in there. And then you can use your hand to knead the dough together. The protein content in flour will need time to react with water. This reaction will create gluten, and that's what makes dough bouncy. So it is very normal to see the dough being rough like this at this point. Don't add more water, it won't help. Just make sure all the flour and liquid are well combined. Cover it up with a plastic wrap to prevent dryouts and let it rest for 20 minutes. Now when the time's up, you can feel how much softer the dough becomes. Let's knead it for around 2 to 3 minutes to even out the mixture even better, and rest it for another 20 minutes before the final kneading. When the second resting time is over, knead it again for another 2 minutes, and you're supposed to have a very smooth dough like this. Cover it up again for the last time and let it do its final resting for exactly 1 hour. For a drier dough like this, the repeatedly kneading and resting process is crucial because mixing the dough perfectly is almost impossible in the first 2 try. And like we mentioned earlier, the gluten needs time to form, and the more you knead them, the stronger the gluten and the harder it is to knead. That's why we need to rest our dough. The only reason here you might need a little bit more water than 48% is that your liquid is not pure. If your juice is thicker than water, that means there's not enough water for our dough to form the gluten. And if you have decided to add more liquid, make sure you do a little bit at a time and be very careful. The water ratio should never excess up to 50%. Now our dough is well rested, we can combine the color and make our wrappers. Roll the white one out into a long strip and then break it into 2. And roll the colorful dough into a long sheet that can wrap around the white dough. Pinch your wrapper nicely and roll them tight together. My colorful dough is a little bit over-rested because I'm filming, so it's a bit tighter than it needs to be. If the dough ends up like this, hard to stick back together, you can use a little bit of water to stick them up. Now we get it wrapped up, we can cut them into small pieces and roll them into a dumpling wrapper. For the regular size dumpling wrap, it's around 3 inches in diameters and it's around 12 to 13 grams per wrap. The store-bought wrappers are normally made with a machine, so it can be very exact with its weight and size. Although for the beginners, it is really hard to control how round you can make, so I recommend using at least 15 grams to start with. With the extra dough, I'll teach you a quick fix-up later in the video if you can't create a perfect circle, so don't worry about that right now. For now, let's just try our best ability and practice over time, and here's how you do it. Stand the colorful dough up like this and press it down with the palm. Then put some potato starch or cornstarch on the mat, dough, as well as your rolling pin to prevent sticking. The reason why we're using starch instead of flour is because there's no gluten contained in the starch. So later when we wrap up the dumplings and you drop it into water, the starch will not react with the water, instead it will just melt it off. Now to roll the circle wrappers, you want to start from the center of the dough to the side. Turn it 45 degrees and repeat. Keep doing this until you reach just over 3 inches and stop. The best dumpling wrappers will have a thicker center and thinner outer rings, but for the beginners, let's not worry about that today. Just try to roll it as round as you possibly can. Since we're not trying to sell these dumplings, as long as you can wrap them together well, it doesn't really matter with the shape that much. But if you're a perfectionist, you want it to be exactly a round shape, here's a little cheat code. Look for a cup, container, glass, or whatever round shape mold that is around 2.5 to 3 inches in diameters. And you probably know where this is going. Just get a knife and cut out a perfect circle with the mold. This is a little cheat way to make your wrapper look identical. And now we got our colorful wrappers. Super simple, right? And about how to wrap a dumplings, how to make the stuffing, as well as how to cook a dumpling, you can check out our last week's video. I'll leave a link up here for you. And here's the result. Aren't they beautiful? With some patience and practice, you can very quickly get better and better at making your own dumplings wrapper. If you don't want to complicate things, you can also start with plain wrappers as well. Enjoy and Happy New Year! The word of the day today is 饺子, dumplings. 饺子. Thank you for cooking with me today. Let me know if you like this recipe by giving this video a thumbs up. It's only gonna take you a second, but it means a lot to me. I make video on YouTube every Monday and Thursdays. Remember to hit that bell and you'll never miss out. Last but not least, don't forget to subscribe on my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!